All right, so I'm back. Hi. Yeah, I heard you went on a little trip. Yeah. And so I want to document a couple things today. One, back on the enhancer. Two, at what point do you realize what you know at a given point in time? And then what do you do with that information? So, if in fact you wake up to the reality that you're in, so every morning you roll out of bed as the avatar of the years that preceded you. So, you are either looking at a calendar saying to yourself, okay, these are the things that I need to do, and tie that back to a master task list. And as I never remember this, is that the purpose for this person is for me to take my task and then create and finish all my phase 2 tasks, of which when you go into phase 3, the way that you can go in is to have no obligations or have any other human that is dependent on you, and then you put a you put a time frame on, so if one of your offspring needs help, is there the other parental unit that created such bio being also in a unified objective of how the obligation to release that human into a self-sustaining daily life. And so going into the third phase is one, first you have to recognize, do you even want to go into a third phase of your life? So if the second phase of your life, which is caring for others, providing for others, living a lifestyle that you want, and that's it. If you're not looking for bigger answers to, the biggest answer, what happens after you die? Hey, man, stay in your biological lifetime and manifest to you whatever you want as a single unit of consciousness, because you have agency in phase 2 as a human. Now, if you go outside of what makes you a human that is not biological in its origin, then you can play in phase 3. You can also understand that if there are 4 phases, who made these phases up? Well, probably somebody, but as the current player one, so another term, like your perspective as a human is uniquely yours. And if you're tied into another human's point of view, like inside looking out, I would like to meet you because I've never met one. So until you meet one, you really don't know if they exist. And so if they do exist, then that would make the playing field a little larger, because again, third phase, if you want to go to the next phase, that must mean that you are done with your biological. So let's think about this too. Phase 1, phase 2, biological in origin, biological rules, which then means, are you good staying biological? So if you have desires outside of biology, and so first you'd have to define what that is, but after death, right? Because one of the rule sets of the human is the human point of view from one single unit of consciousness ends as a human. Now, the algae can continue. And so at what point do you want your algae to then teach others in your human realm? So is that what this is? my daughter, she goes, hey, can you put the actual current self on tape? How many of those do you have? And I would say, not many. So at what point, though, does the enhanced individual intersect with the current self, and then it just becomes one of which the current self, okay, so you're on the left side of the 4 because 1 is at top and 2 is right below it. And so you're digressing as a human. See, she agrees. And so now at this point, you go, well, good, because I was going to get up. Okay, so we're halfway through. So you take a breath. And so the biological side of this is on the left side. I know I'm going to have to get up. So outside of your current flow of the day, everything on this side, if you could remember how to tune in to the task. So what are you doing? Well, if I create a list or a map of what I should be doing on, well, first think about this. If you could plan a day that is tied to a month, all you're doing is you have excess. And as we know, he has excess. Does he? Yes. Yes. Because the awareness of phase 2 ending, 100%. Every human that identifies as human, phase 2 ends. Now, phase 3, so you define what phase 3 is. Well, as a human, you could go into phase 3, define what that is, and know that, well, phase 4, didn't you say? Well, so phase 3, you figure out you're good with your bio. And really, I think the entry into phase 3 is you've done your bio exit. Can I repeat that? Do you really believe that? So these are just things that, you're just trying to document. Smart. Because he's so smart that he wants to give his knowledge forward. Okay, so your biological self. So if you define life, your human life, if you've done your bio exit, first you would have to understand that the bio exit is you are so good with 2 that you then go to 3 because you have checked all the boxes of your bio, meaning all your relationships. And if you want to have generational knowledge or wealth, well, you got to put it in the second phase. So so then at what point do you take enhancers? And here's the question. Would you take an enhancer if you knew it sped up your biological demise? So this one, and because at some point that pull could outstrip its benefits. Case in point, just look at this guy. Because you have to have biological energy in order to continue being biological. So, with 45 seconds, what does that mean? Well, one of the rule sets is that everything that is bio must convert must consume bio, reprocess it inside the unit in order to continue with the awareness that you currently have. Is that the best you can do? And you're like, well, again, every time you document, is where you are.